So I've definitely got my share of hate mail over the years. I started doing this kind of content back in 2021. At that point, I'd been a musician for over 20 years, and I did it full time all the time. And my calendar year was always full before it got started. And then in 2021, I just decided that the issues at hand were way more important than what the bars I was playing in or the tips I was making in the tip jar. And so I just began speaking out. And real quickly, my schedule went from being full time to empty. And people began speaking out against what I was saying. A whole lot of friends and family created fake profiles and talked to me from behind that and thought I was too stupid to not realize who they were and what they were saying. I could always see through it and always knew exactly who they were. I will say there were some that continued to send their hate mail and their disapproval from their real profile. And I'll just say this: I have more respect for them for having the guts to at least show their face and who they really were. I can respect that more than I can the ones that hid behind fake profiles and then smiles at me when they see me in the dollar store. I'm seeing right through you. Just know that I know that's you. But the hate mail has gotten more and more over the years, and I knew on the night of the election, I knew there would be people that were going to flex at me if it went against us. I knew that was coming, and I was braced for that. And I knew the minute that it was announced, my inbox would start filling up, and it sure as hell did, with people, "Told you so, Brando. We tried to tell you. How do you feel now? I bet you feel stupid. I bet you feel played, blah, blah, blah." But the hate mail has been way more since the election, and death threats have been more since the election than they were before. They're madder now, and they're more enraged now, and they won the whole damn thing. They have the presidency. He has the Supreme Court in his back pocket. They have the Senate and the House. And you would think, I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, you would think they would flex at us in their victory moment, but you think that would be the end of it, but it's not. And anytime that I've ever tried to report the threats on social media, the platforms like Facebook just comes back and says that don't go against our community guidelines. And it's funny to me how that I have literally just made comments on a post jokingly. There's been times that I've quoted a movie and would get the comment removed because it violated a community guidelines post, and I was literally quoting Scarface or Sling Blade or something like that. Meanwhile, someone could say, "I would love to watch someone stick a bullet through your head," and when I report that one, they say, "We don't see anything wrong with that." I've had people send me pictures of themselves in their Klan robe holding an assault rifle and say, "Keep talking, liberal," and all these things. And it's like, well, we don't see anything wrong with that. He's just telling you to keep talking. And it's like, okay, I get it. No one is ever going to call that kind of bullshit out, and I'm just going to have to live with it. But myself and members of the Midas Touch Network and so many have received threats since the election, and more so since the election than we did before. And it really got me to thinking about Maga and their type of mentality and the way that they think and the way they operate. Their entire platform, the entire foundation of Maga is built on victimhood. They have to be the victims in the story, and they have to be fighting against something. They feel as though they're in some kind of fight, and Donald Trump empowers them to be who they've always wanted to be. And it's all about owning the libs. They have to do that. So I really believe that the majority of them expected to lose again. I really believe that the majority of them thought they would lose, and when they lost again, they would cry that it was rigged. Notice they don't cry that now. They have all the faith in the world in the election system now, but they were going to cry one way or the other. And I really believe it's because they didn't get to have their moment again. They didn't get to have another January 6th style of moment. They didn't get to try to take to the streets again. They had all that rage and all that anger bottled up toward us, and then they won. And then it was like, wait a minute, we were mad at you guys, and we wanted to own the libs. But it's really sad to me that that is people's entire identity. It's sad to me that there are people out there that latches onto that type of thing because they have nothing left to latch onto in this world. It's sad to me that people feel so hopeless in their lives that they could look over at such an insecure and fragile ego like Donald Trump's and think that that insecure, fragile ego has their best interest at heart. It's sad to me that they would look up to him and think that he has their best interest at heart or that he's one of them. I grew up in a poor county in southeast Kentucky. Okay, I went to a high school. I graduated with a 2.5 average, and I barely did that. I mean, I barely made it out, honestly. I think they just passed me to get me out of their face. I didn't have the best of grades. I don't have a college education. I never went any further than that. When I walked out of high school, I walked straight into dive bars, and I grew up in those, playing to white redneck audiences in my part of the world. I don't have the education that other people have, but I learned over the years to know when someone's talking down to me, and I've learned over the years when someone is playing me. And when I sit and watch a guy like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I mean, they are the elite. It cracks me up when I hear people in my part of the world, they'll say the Clintons and the Obamas are elitist. You don't, what do you think Trump and Musk is? You don't think that's elite? You don't, I mean, that's as elite as you can get. And they're absolutely playing people. And all we've done is sit back and try to point it out, because at the end of the day, it's because we care about people. I know they don't feel it. I know they may not necessarily feel the love radiating off me, but I do care about them. And I'm tired of seeing people get played. And I just hope somebody can wake up. And when people says to me, I get this a lot, people say, Brando, you're beating a dead horse, buddy. Don't talk to MAGA. Don't try to reason with them. Don't try to talk to them. They're never going to listen to you. They're never going to hear you out. You're just wasting your time. Well, I disagree with that sentiment. I understand why you would say it. It definitely gets frustrating. But I have had people reach out to me and tell me that my videos changed their mind. I have had people reach out to me and tell me that my videos made them think. And for every crazy Fox News QAnon watching MAGA who's out there just soaking up a steady diet of Joe Rogan and PBD and people like that and just believing that to be gospel, for every one of those in a family somewhere, there's one person sitting back on the fence going, I don't really buy into this shit. And in my mind, that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the ones who are trying to get away from the cult. And yes, it still is one. Him winning re-election didn't change the fact. As a matter of fact, all it did was amplify it even more. That they would be cultish when he lost, and they would be cultish even when he won, and they still want to carry out August 8th and 9th. Of 1969, it's like they still want to carry out the Manson murders, even though they won. It's a crazy world that we're living in, and there's people tells me that they worry about me. My family worries about me and things of that nature. But I'm just going to be real with you guys, as real as I can possibly be. When I say this is my hill to die on, I mean it literally. I make these videos so that my grandchildren will know that and my great-grandchildren, years to come, will know that I didn't buy into the bullshit. Do I think I'm going to change everybody's mind? No. Do I think I'm going to win everybody over? No. Do I think I'll ever get to play music in my part of the world? No, and I don't want to. But I want this channel, and I want every video I ever made to stand as a testament that I didn't buy into the bullshit. Because I've always sat and wondered, when I studied 1930s Germany, I always sat and wondered, what were people saying? Were there people speaking out against it? And I've always wondered, too, in all honesty, how many people here in the South were blue dots during the Civil War? I mean, how many people weren't for that? How many people was like, wait, I don't want to be fighting on the side of this? They didn't have platforms to speak from, so we'll never know. So I want this to stand as proof that I didn't buy into the bullshit. And I want people to know that for years to come. So I would much rather, I saw something Ben Meiselas said, because he's received death threats too. Several of the Meiselas brothers have, and so many of us have, and we try to be cautious about it and take it seriously. But Ben said, I would rather die once than to live, I don't remember exactly how I said it, I'm paraphrasing, but in other words, I would hate to sit and live 1,000 deaths for Trump and kissing that ring and bowing the knee and obeying in advance to Donald Trump. I'd rather die once as I would to die over and over again at his hands. And that's how I feel about it. I take this extremely seriously. And I'm glad that my life took this turn. It took me a while to get used to it. I'll be honest with you. It took me a while to get used to doing what I do, because I was just so used to going down to the bar and cranking up my Les Paul. And there will always be part of me that misses that. But the truth of the matter is, the kind of places that I like to play in my part of the world, they're dead and gone. And I don't want to be part of the bootlicking festivals around here where you have to line up and kiss somebody's ass and buy them a new guitar to get a spot. I don't want no part of that. I miss the standing on stage and playing and feeling the band rumble underneath me. But in all honesty, I'm glad my life took this turn, and I'm glad that I'm here, because I would hate for my grandchildren one day to go, well, I don't necessarily know how my granddaddy felt about it. He was just down there, you know, playing some Rolling Stones covers. I think I heard him say one time he didn't like Trump too good, but that's about all he said. No, let it be known, this is where I stand. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. And so, yeah, it's sad that people. I really feel that it's sad that people got so caught up in Trump and his cult and his bullshit that they live this way. It's sad that they have so much hate and so much toxic energy inside of them. But it's not going to stop me from calling it out. And if anybody thinks they can threaten me and scare me into stopping, no, it's not happening. You can take me to the gallows for all I care. I mean what I say. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. And I don't plan on shutting up anytime soon. So to anybody that made it, any troll that made it to the end of this video, wondering what I was going to say about this, just know as long as I have a platform and as long as I have a breath in my lungs, I'll be calling out Donald Trump for exactly what he is. I'm not backing down anytime soon.